From Seattle, Washington, we are in the West, showcasing the West region. We've got the 4 versus 13 matchup. Grand Canyon winners out of the WAC taking on the Maryland Terrapins, an at-large bid out of the Big Ten. We have already seen one upset in our first game. It's the number 12 seed advancing in our first game, and the winner of this one will get Colorado State, the number 12 seed, beating number 5 Memphis. Will we see another upset here in game number 2? Lisa Byington, Jalen Rose, Robbie Hummel, and Andy Katz with us on the sideline. And Jalen, always fun to watch talent here in the NCAA tournament. Really fun to watch young talent. And Derek Queen of Maryland is in his first tournament, but he's not playing like a freshman in the regular season.
The Big Ten Freshman of the Year, and he has all of the requisite skills. He gives you 16 and 9. He has the ability to make three-point shots. He's 6'10", 245 out of Baltimore, and he's been a do-it-all player for Memphis, for Maryland this season. As you see him finish on the interior. How about this? The big fella with the handle, finishing at the hoop through traffic. He has all of the requisite skills. He can drive the basketball, finish with the left, finish with the right. And if you leave him open, get out that zone, Golden, he can knock down the 3 as well.
And Robbie, from a freshman to a grad transfer, Jacoby Coles has been an impact.
Well, a lot of experience and a lot of NCAA tournament experience for Jacoby Coles. This will be his 6th tournament game. He was fantastic at the WAC tournament throughout the entirety of it. Over 3 games, averaged 19 a game. The last 17 games of the season, he's been in double figures. First team all WAC this year. The WAC tournament MVP, Jacoby Coles, a big part of why Grand Canyon is back in the NCAA tournament.
Coles has got some company. He was this year's tournament most outstanding player, but Ray Harrison, Tyon Grant Foster have been the most outstanding players in the previous years, and Gillespie and Rice, and you see the starting 5 there for Maryland. They're called the Jalen Crab 5.
Crab 5. I like it a lot.
They average 69 points. That's the tops in the country.
It's like a remix, but the original is always the best. That's where you take that, right?
The remix is never as good. The sequel is never as good. And a foul here on the first possession. Duke Brennan picks up his first.
Well, the world may not know, we actually wanted to call ourselves 5 times, like 5 times 1, 1 for all. But we glad the public outruled us. Crab 5 is much cooler.
That is fair.
It's funny, no one knows where the Crab 5 came from. Just all of a sudden popped up on social media. I've asked so many Maryland players. They'll take it though. Gillespie, mid-range shot, in and out.
Fouls are something to watch for in this game because Grand Canyon is elite nationally. 5th in free throws made, 6th in free throws attempted. Maryland doesn't foul at all. We'll see throughout the game.
That move, though?
Great handle.
Yeah, Grant Foster. Now with Maryland, 13 of the 15 on this roster, their first NCAA tournament experience. We might see some of that. A little bit of nerves and some turnovers early.
Think about the guys from Maryland that have played in the NCAA tournament. Julian Reese obviously has, and then you got Jordan Geronimo a couple years ago playing for Indiana.
And the list stops there. Harrison, step back from the paint. And Queen looking to corral it.
Great poise and great balance on that shot.
Yeah, feeding Julian Reese, heads up play, tried to knock it off of GCU. And 2 turnovers here from Maryland.
Grant Foster is going to look to get to the rim. Has been injured this season, but that's what he does, and that's got to be that's the risk for Maryland, a team that depends on their starters, whether it's Tyon Grant Foster or it's Ray Harrison or even guys like Makai Williams and Jacoby Coles. They're looking to get to the rim and get to the line.
Both of these head coaches making their 7th NCAA tournament appearances from different schools, and Bryce Drew and Grand Canyon getting their first win in the NCAA tournament last year. They took care of St. Mary's, then lost to Alabama in the 2nd game of the tournament for them.
We did that game. It was a track meet. Grand Canyon not afraid to get in a game like that.
Yeah, not afraid to put up some quick shots too with the shot clock running down. Here's Jacoby Gillespie. And a touch for the freshman. Look at the double team coming. Queen dribbles out of it.
Pass.
Yeah, Rice stepped on the sideline though, and 3 turnovers in the last 3 possessions for Maryland.
I think you mentioned the NCAA tournament and experience, Lisa, and certainly some nerves. The stage gets elevated, you feel it as a player, and Maryland a little bit sloppy these first 2 minutes.
Maryland lost to eventual Big Ten tournament champion Michigan. They destroyed their non-conference competition outside of losing to Marquette. Here's Queen dribbling it up.
That's the versatility I was talking about. Does a great job setting the screen, creating action.
Ronnie Rice could have scored that.
Instead, he gives it to Reese.
Lefty wants to go over that right shoulder.
And Jacoby Coles with his first personal. Julian Reese to the free throw line. Reese has paired well with Derek Queen here this year. A senior and a freshman, both Baltimore natives. When you talk to Kevin Willard about why it works, he said that they've each taught each other something, but it helps that they're both Baltimore natives and they know each other. Join award-winning actress Eva Longoria for a culinary journey across Spain in the new CNN original series, Eva Longoria, Searching for Spain, premiering Sunday, April 27th at 9, only on CNN.
And the size up front for Maryland is really pronounced. When you look at Reese and Queen, they got to do a good job of taking advantage of that in the paint.
Corner shot, 3 on the way, drills it for Colin Moore, who is a 36% three-point shooter.
A big shot for his confidence. He's 2 of his last 12 from 3. Grand Canyon, they believe they can be here, and this is the type of game they want to play.
Big pump fake from Luke Ward coming off the bench, hanging. Queen got a piece. Cole staying with it for the putback.
Great board, great finish.
That's one of those 50-50 plays that can win you ball games. Jacoby Coles isn't going to move fast. He's going to be methodical, but he's going to also be effective. And nice little surge here by the Grand Canyon offense.
You saw the Havocs, the student section. They've made the trip from Grand Canyon, leaving it short for Rice. 0 for 3 on the first 7 possessions. 4 turnovers for Maryland. Really slow start.
Grant Foster looks really confident.
You mentioned it, Robbie, too. The healthiest that he has arguably been here this season, but he leaves that short.
He has not shot the ball well from 3, and he's battled injuries all season long. Last year, a much better shooter from the three-point line, but this season, only 21% from beyond the arc.
Reese is calling for it. And War battling for it with Reese, who gives Maryland its first bucket.
Great job, great patience.
If it's going to be single coverage, Luke War is a good defender, but he's not going to be able to hang with the physicality of Julian Reese one-on-one.
Grand Canyon, guys like Harrison with the ball, just itching to get back in the NCAA tournament. War. Luke War was huge down the stretch last year in the regular season in the NCAA tournament.
Grand Canyon getting them up from 3. 5 attempts already. They've not been a good three-point shooting team this year.
And Colin Moore with the reach-in foul from behind. A 5-2 edge here early for GCU. Get complete coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Tournament on NCAA.com. We come to you from Seattle, Washington, and we come now to the 4th member of our team, Andy Katz. What's up, Andy?
Well, as you said at the top of the broadcast, it was a social media phenomenon actually released on Valentine's Day, the Crab 5. And listen, statistically, it's 85% of the scoring, 74% of the minutes, and the families have embraced Elise Anderson, Derek Queen's mother. She's wearing the Crab 5 shirt. And I will say this, okay? Before you leave, Jalen, if Maryland wins, they got to have a photo. They've already told me they want a photo of a member of the Fab 5 and the Crab 5. So don't leave if they win.
Okay.
Done, and done.
What you say, Jalen?
Absolutely. It'd be my honor. Shout out to my Fab 5 brothers, Chris Webber, Juwan Howard, Jimmy King, Ray Jackson.
Right, there you go.
Juwan was the one that never wanted to cut his hair bald. Love you, Big Noop.
Now they just got to get the black shoes and the black socks, right?
Yep, they got the shorts out there on the floor.
They do have the shorts. The shorts have kind of stayed.
I get some NIL reparations.
Yes, please, please.
Here's Harrison from the wing, attacking, turned away.
The Knicks are at a premium out here right now. Some nerves both ways, but these two teams right now are a combined 3 of 18 from the field.
Grand Canyon's gone deep into its bench, too. There's some bench points from Mekhi Williams.
He's the X factor for this team. When he plays well, normally Grand Canyon does too. And he's a guy that with his speed, he can get to the basket.
The guard's getting to the paint. He could do that all day.
Yeah, that's a nice move from Julian Reese.
Patient, no double, right shoulder jump hook.
I just don't know. And even though Duke Brennan's a good defender at the WAC level, I'm not sure the physicality of Reese is going to be a real challenge for him.
Reading those ball screens, Harrison pulls up. Too strong, loose ball. Couple players on the deck. It'll be a jump ball. Staying here.
Grand Canyon guard getting good shots. Getting to the paint, square up, straight up and down, just got to make it. You see him, Mikael Williams with the setup and the dribble drive to blow by. And the finish at the cup.
Yeah, Kevin Willard had pointed out Mikael Williams and Luke War as two guys coming off the bench that really concerned him. You think he would mention a Ray Harrison or a Tyon Grant Foster, Jacoby Coles, and he pointed out those two guys as sparks coming off the bench here for the Lopes. In and out for Williams.
They're getting open looks. Good hustle.
You got to block out Duke
Getting open
Brennan.
looks.
Harrison for three, that time in and out.
Grand Canyon is ice cold from three.
1 for 7.
If you Maryland, get Reese back on that right block.
Rice changes directions, pulls up. And Geronimo battling for it, but picks up the foul. We've got DJ Karstensen, Matt Potter, and DG Nelson as our officials here today. Karstensen in his 20th NCAA tournament, Potter in his 13th, Nelson in his 7th. Aaron Smith applying a little bit of pressure on Harrison.
Good help there. Derek Queen meeting him well outside the paint.
Here's Luke Ward, good up fake, pulls, well short. Brennan battling for it and gets fouled on the rebounding attempt.
Grand Canyon just got to take their time and make their open shots.
Aaron Smith gets his first personal.
You mentioned Duke Brennan on the offensive glass. 6 of the last 8 games, he's had 3 or more offensive rebounds. He gets there, he's active. If you're not checking out, Brennan is going to get second chance opportunities for Grand Canyon.
He's an Arizona native, has now played more games. He came from Arizona State. He started his career there, but now he's played more games at Grand Valley than at Arizona State. 65 to 36 now in his career.
Back cut down screen.
And Williams gets bumped by Jay Young.
Great inbound action. Another way to get the basketball to the paint.
Isn't it amazing, Jalen, that the flex has stood the test of time?
Yes,
it's just
undefeated.
It is.
Yes.
It's been forever, and it will last for always.
Gosh, I just got the shakes. We only ran the flex at Northwestern.
Not much variance for the Cats, huh?
And for a 5'6" guard that wanted to play up tempo.
Yeah, that's a tough offense to play in.
7-4 advantage here, Grand Canyon over Maryland. Corner shot for War, short.
But what it does is organizes the floor and lets everybody know what spots they need to be in to be occupied.
Yeah, they're not shy. To your point, 1 for 9 from 3. Off and running. Reese, another opportunity. He's going to try to bully his way in for 2. There's that physicality.
And Brennan didn't give him an angle. Julian Reese had to gather that and score it over the top.
Reese has got all 6 points.
Good help.
Yeah, breaks up the pass there. Good hustle for the Terps.
Reese was on the ball, and then he was off of it getting that deflection.
Gillespie. Oh, he saved the ball on one end and knocks down the 3 on the other.
And for Maryland, making shots so imperative in the sense that now you can set your full court pressure. Sometimes they'll go back to 2-3, sometimes man-to-man, but they can turn you over too.
High screen action.
First lead of the game here for Terps. And Williams, a walking violation. 2 turnovers here for GCU.
Great hustle by Gillespie. Behind the back with the left. And in transition. The pull-up triple.
I heard about finding someone to reward them for a defensive play. He rewarded himself. he found himself.
It's a great life skill.
4 buckets for Maryland, 3 of them coming from Reese, who's got the ball right now, hands it right back off to Rice, pulls from mid-range, and now Maryland's starting to spread it out a little bit.
He can do that. That's a 3-level score. At his best, like he was against Illinois in the Big Ten tournament quarterfinals, he can put a big number on you. Rodney Rice, very capable scorer.
And not so lost out of the mid-range.
A 9-0 advantage for Maryland, 3 minutes and counting.
What a breath of fresh air that is, honestly.
And Tyon Foster, good take for the Lopes. We're taking a timeout. 11-7 is your score in Seattle. Watch live men's games on your computer, phone, tablet, or streaming device with NCAA March Madness Live. Download now. Andy Katz is with Kevin Willard.
And after the slow start, how did your team get into that rhythm?
Yeah, first time out, I just told everybody, this is nerves. Derek's a freshman, Rodney's a freshman, Jacoby's first tournament, Selton's first tournament. The only guy out there with tournament experience is Julian. So I said, hey guys, you see that big fella right there? He's the only guy that's played in one. Let's all take a deep breath. Throw him the basketball. I said, Ju, let's just work through you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, AK.
I think it's a really great answer Kevin Willard is talking about. And Reese is performing 6 points, 4 rebounds to lead the Terps here so far.
Well, if he's got single coverage, it's going to be a long night for Grand Canyon. They're going to have to mix and match, send some help over to Duke Brennan because Reese is a load down there. He's a ton of experience, and he's a really good player.
And we've seen actually a couple of buckets from people not named Reese. We've seen, Gillespie pull up. And Rice with a bucket as well. They are 3 of their last 3 after starting out 2 for their last 12. So maybe, to Coach's point, settling in just a little bit.
And then yet to feature Queen just yet. On cue.
Right on cue.
How about the physicality, but didn't overdo it? Like Jacoby Coles is knocked well back from that play, but a lot of young players extend that forearm. Really mature take off that pick and pop by Derek Queen.
Almost to the halfway point here in the first half. Moore's forced to give it up.
Maryland guards doing a great job of fighting over screens.
Single digits on the timer. Harrison driving right side. Tough take.
Look at that from Colin Moore, almost a steal.
Therese hasn't been shy. He's been the leader here so far for Maryland. 8 points.
It's not just back you down. I mean, that's putting you in pick and roll, hitting the short roll, and Julian Reese has worked on that jumper a ton over the course of his time at the University of Maryland.
Not shy to talk about this is my last postseason. He's played in 2 career NCAA tournament games coming into today.
Maryland's really loading to the ball. Look at the help that's built in. And these Grand Canyon drives, there's just nowhere to go but better offense. Wow.
That's the healthy player of the year, Grant Foster, that you just saw there. Transfer out of DePaul in Kansas. Count the bucket. Gillespie.
Great job of probing.
Julian Reese, look at the way he's posting Duke Brennan. We saw it a lot in our first game. Those bigs can clear the way for these guards to get downhill. And this is just a big-time shot, Jay. I mean, you're making stuff like this. How do you guard it?
Gillespie makes good on the and one. Largest lead of the game here for the Terps. Harrison snaking that screen, turned away. Tough pass for Brennan to try to handle. Grant Foster behind the back. Brennan, quick spin move against Reese.
It's a really good move.
Good recovery, too, by Reese, right, defensively?
Yes, it was. Yes. Reese is doing a great job of being active, and Maryland's doing a great job of leaning on their senior.
course, the younger brother of Angel Reese, WNBA star for the Chicago Sky, national champion for OSU. They both credit Mom for learning the game of basketball.
Oh, Maryland's defense is just loaded up. I mean, you had Queen, you had Reese, you got Gillespie on the basketball. There's nowhere to go. Grand Canyon is going to have to make some jump shots over the top.
Yeah, and so far that's not happening. To add to it, 1 for 9 from 3 for Grand Canyon. We got Caleb Shaw checking in for Brennan, and Grant Foster checking out. GCU won the MAC tournament. They average about 87 points per game in the conference tournament. Good post feed to Reese.
Yeah, look what he's saying.
And you see the result, but what you don't see is the work he did early to position himself for that layup. Great post speed, great finish.
Grand Canyon forced to call the timeout. Maryland has made its last 7 shots, including this one.
That's a terrific post entry. Reese did a great job of creating space. Easy finish.
Grand Canyon cold from 3 early, just 1 of 9 from the three-point line, so that floor has gotten shrunk out here. You see Jacoby Gillespie's on the ball guarding Ray Harrison. The help is built in. Julian Reese is here, Derek Queen. Look how far they are to the basketball, showing help, creating a wall. It just makes the offensive player uncomfortable. You could see it with Ray Harrison. The way he wanted to play there, never felt good about the space he had. Maryland, if it's dribble drives or post-ups, they're doing a tremendous job of loading to the ball and making Grand Canyon prove it from 3.
And if your man is the person that's going to do the overload, now you have to become a screener, a cutter, a mover.
You see Reese on the bench here for Maryland. Reese and Gillespie have combined for the 16 points. Queen gets blocked, but stays with it.
Luke War is so long out there.
That Queen spins in for 2.
His level of skill at his size is just incredible. Drop step with the left hand.
That's the 16th point in the paint for Maryland. They understand where their advantage is, and they're going right at it.
Harrison crossover on Queen. Tosses it away to the Terps.
There's just nowhere to go on these drives. I mean, it's very clear that Maryland is okay with giving up dribble drive and kicks for 3s.
Well, you're 1 for 9. Prove it that you can hit that shot.
It's a season-long issue. I mean, Grand Canyon's in the 300 to three-point percentage. What a pass.
Queen drops it off in the finish.
And that's just the versatility of Derek Queen. To set a high pick, throw it back to him. He can make a play for himself or a teammate. Great pass.
Harris Smith's first 2.
That's Harris Smith's first basket in 9 games.
Williams with the miss. Look at Queen with the outlet pass. Here's Harris Smith again. He likes that scoring thing. Oh, he's going back to back. Give him more.
Queen just showing his versatility at his size, making guys around him better. How about this? The West Unsale Outlet and the finish at the hoop.
Watch whip-around coverage of all men's games with Fast Break presented by Nissan and the March Madness Live app. Andy Katz getting some thoughts from Bryce Drew.
Bryce, you've just called 2 consecutive timeouts. What are you trying to stress to stop this steamroll from Maryland?
Yeah, first of all, they're really good, so we can't have many mistakes. Next of all, that's not the team I've coached all year. For the first 13 minutes, hopefully we start making some shots, so we start playing better defense, start playing like we're capable of.
Thanks, Bryce.
Thanks.
A team that won the WAC tournament has put up 26 wins here on the season. A lot of veteran guys who picked up a win last year in the NCAA tournament up against it.
They're going to have to get Cole some looks. I mean, he's been a guy for them all year long. He and Ty and Grant Foster are super talented dudes, but they've got to get these guys some opportunities.
And Grant Foster leaning in and trying the foul. Derek Queen's first.
As Queen is committed to be a helper on the strong side, Brennan has to present himself as an offensive player, whether it's flash to the middle or even become a screener, so his man can't just double team the ball handler or the post up in that case.
You saw that a lot in the first game, with Ethan Morton, with the way that they were just not guarding him. Memphis wasn't guarding him, and it gives you an opportunity. If you're not being guarded, like you said, Jalen, go get somebody, go screen, put them in dribble hand up. You've got to find action, and especially if it's a post up here, it's got to be back cuts. You've got to make yourself available, find an open area, and try to score off of a cut.
Some much-needed points there from the free throw line here for Grand Canyon. 20 paint points here from Maryland. 12 of the last 13 have come in the paint. Rice is looking for more. Here's Reese inside the paint. And a little bit of a delayed foul call from the baseline. At least Reese will trot back to the free throw line. And Moore has picked up his third.
Look at Maryland's shot profile. 2 3-point field goal attempts, 12 of 23 from the field, and the points in the paint are just continuing to stack up at 20. They understand fully where they have the advantage.
Absolutely, their size is so pronounced in particular with Reese and Queen.
This is where they've gone. It's been Julian Reese early on, the most experienced player on this team. 10 points, 5 of 7 from the field. We've seen Queen get on the action as well. Those two have combined for 14. Mix that in with some dribble drives from the Maryland guards, and they've been in business at the rim.
And Reese with that free throw, guys, 11 points. And factor this in, his last 2 games in the Big Ten tournament, he had 10 points against Illinois and 13 points against Michigan. So he's basically at that here in the first half.
He's fought some foul trouble. He's been better on the year of not getting that, but he certainly over the last 4 or 5 games has stacked up the fouls.
Pump fake, dribble drive, pull up for Williams.
A good switch right there. Rodney Rice just jumped out and contested that shot.
And Queen, all 6'10", taps the rebound to himself. Now, quick move. Gillespie steps it back from the corner. Oh, that's smooth.
Great shot making by Gillespie. Step back, knocks down the 3.
That's the thing about Maryland too, Jalen. We know they can play inside. They've got dynamic guards that can shoot it from the outside. Other than their depth, they really don't have a weakness.
The Terps have come alive, a 15-1 run. GCU now 1 for 10 from 3. They want to push it again. The Terps on the move. Gillespie. Rice checks his feet. How about that spot for him? It's the hot spot for the Terps.
Back-to-back threes from your backcourt. Backcourt.
Bryce Drew was calling a play, and the officials thought he was calling a timeout.
Yeah, he's like, my fist, I wasn't making the timeout motion. So DJ Karstensen, credit to him, it looks like he's going to correct this situation. He's got to change the motion of that play.
Yeah, he's calling it punch, but it looks like timeout.
That was confusing,
that would be
Coach.
my first advice to Bryce.
That's just incredible shot making off the dribble.
He's done it all season long. You know, Jacoby Gillespie has had a heck of a year transferring up from Belmont. First the made 3, then the paint touch and spray to Rodney Rice.
Harrison.
There's just nothing open out there. Maryland
bodies
is just
everywhere.
swarming.
Aaron Smith.
Suffocating the paint.
Three-pointer on the way from the corner, in and out. The next one for Maryland sets the single-season record for the Terps. There's their 3 that they were looking for.
They need that. Tyon Grant Foster, it's not been a strength this year that they're going under on him. That help defense is built in, and he steps back and drills it.
2 for 11 now for the Lopes from 3. Rice coming over. 4.5 and some change. Reese gives it right back to Queen. And a foul call. Quick first step, man, for a big guy.
One 6'10" guy throwing it into the post to another 6'10" guy, and then cutting afterwards and making the play.
Well, it takes some real maturity, Jalen, for a guy like Derek Queen, who's just a freshman, he's just 19 years old, to understand, hey, if I can rip this through, it's going to be a foul. You know, and usually you look at guys that are 27, 28, 29. They've been in the NBA for 8 or 9 years, and that's where they're understanding how to get to the foul line like that.
You know, Kevin Willard had talked about how he was going to use Queen, and he changed his philosophy with him after the Marquette loss that happened in November. It was basically the first loss of the season and just the 4th game of the season, and he realized he had to change and make Derek maybe roam the perimeter a little bit more. And you can see the effect there, the way that it creates that space for Reese in the paint.
It's not necessarily been to shoot threes. So he's only made 4 threes on the year. It's been more to be a handler, to kind of play dribble handoff. You know, he's such a versatile piece that can beat you in a number of ways, and he can beat you inside and out, off the bounce or in the post.
The Queen's got 5 points to go with his 9 rebounds, steps it back. Grant
check.
Foster. Whoa, they've gone back-to-back all of a sudden.
We saw it last year in Spokane. It doesn't take him much to get that thing going. He's a big-time talent. He sees a couple go in, and Tyon Grant Foster can get rolling.
Espy turning the corner, floats it, and gets it.
That's great action. And when you have a player like Queen that can set that screen and create space, that's a great floater.
And if they're going to be in the drop, just taking what the defense is giving you and getting to your mid-range.
Grant Foster's got the last couple points, last 6 points. There's more, he finds him. Man, they were 1 for 10, and now they've hit their last 3.
What a dribble drive just to get to the lane. That defense converges, and that's what we're talking about. The help's coming over. You're going to have some guys step up and make some threes.
Deep shot, deep make. Selton Miguel, and a new single-season record for Maryland for 3-pointers.
Who do you help off of? I mean, everybody on the floor for Maryland is such a weapon. Selton Miguel shot it at a 43% clip from 3 in Big Ten Conference play.
2-3 zone here for Maryland.
And jab step, Williams squeezes out.
But to your point, Robbie, complete basketball team.
And they guard. I mean, they do everything well. It's just the bench is the question mark.
Heat check.
He's got some real electricity in his game. Just the way that he can do that.
There's a reason why he was highly recruited. Started his career at Kansas. We got Maryland looking to advance. Grand Canyon has other ideas, but has a huge mountain to climb. All right, Jamie, thanks a lot. You know, the winner of that one gets Alabama. When did big hats become a thing for fans?
When the turn cap became popular.
Your game summary looks like this. I mean, Grand Canyon got out to a hot start. Look at the points in the paint advantage, and then also points off turnovers here for Maryland.
I like the bounce and the rhythm of Grant Foster's game.
Yeah.
3 of 5 from the floor. He's already knocked down 2 threes, working himself into having a big offensive night.
Well, he started his career at Kansas, played 22 games, and then the one game in DePaul where he collapsed with a heart failure. Incredible story. Had 2 heart surgeries to keep him off the court for 16 months, and now he's back playing.
Oh, good fight there by War, but still Reese. I mean, they're just going inside every time, and rightfully so.
The size, physicality, trying to get those points in the paint, and in turn, you force Grand Canyon to play against your set defense.
Well, think about, you know, Luke War has great length. He's 6'9", 215, but Julian Reese is 6'10", 6'11", 255. You're just in a different weight class out there.
Every dunk, every three, every upset, fan work is thirsty work. Stay refreshed with Coke Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever?
Reese 2 for 5 from free throw line. Now 2 of 6.
I mean, he worked at that. He's been better this season, but a little bit of slippage here late in the year. Jacoby Coles has been non-existent out here for Grand Canyon.
I was just looking at his stats. 2 points and still non-existent.
That's a guy that 29 of his 33 games, he's been in double figures. He's been a big factor offensively this year.
And Reese is looking for a call. Maryland, their 17th 40-point first half this year. You wouldn't have maybe guessed that with the way that they started. Kevin Willard had said a little bit of nerves. And with 13 of the 15 in this lineup playing in the first NCAA tournament game. They flipped the switch quickly. Or gets a look.
Work some action with Queen. Get it back to him in the middle of the floor.
Oh, what a
Good hezzy.
Man.
Oh, count the bucket.
Rodney Rice, that dude can play right there. That change of pace, you freeze the defense, your shot of a cannon to the rim. Luke Ward, you cannot leave until that ball gets squared up, because if you take off for the big, it's going to be downhill to the rim. That's where Rodney Rice gets.
24 points in the paint now for Maryland. Inside a minute left to play here in the first half. Grant Foster looking for a baseline. Foul before the shot to Harris Smith, his second. Coming up on AT&T at the half, scores and highlights of the latest NCAA tournament news. It's all coming up on AT&T at the half. Lisa Byington, Jalen Rose, Robbie Hummel, Andy Katz on the sideline. 1-on-1 situation for Grant Foster.
But look at the shoes on Tyon Grant Foster. Those are awesome. Those things are like from the Emerald City right there, yeah.
Yeah, good call. Being in the Emerald City. Jalen, you're the fashion guy of this group.
Those are fly. Gotta have some black socks to go with it, though. That's what I was looking at. Where the black socks at?
He's trying to will his team back into this game here in the first half. Down 17, he's been the catalyst to get their offense going, making some threes, making some plays for others. Now a little bit of a zone look here from Grand Canyon.
Grant Foster with a near pickoff. Gillespie has an advantage. Rice can't get it. Battle for the loose ball. Yeah,
Harris Smith just flying in there. Those are the plays he's got to make. In transition, offensive glass, active cutter, stealing a possession right there.
Kevin Willard wants to draw something up. He's got 14 seconds on the shot clock to work with. Get more sports coverage than ever before in the Bleacher Report app. Be sure to download the all-new Bleacher Report app today. Look at the Grand Canyon Band. Grand Canyon student section has also traveled. They're called the Havocs. They have, if you ever watch any home game for the Lopes, that is some home atmosphere that they've created here on campus. Robbie, you and I have almost followed Grand Canyon the last few years.
And they find their way to these NCAA tournament sites.
They do. Very interesting. Oh, let's see, Maryland draws up. Gillespie calls his own number.
I didn't love that shot or that possession from Maryland coming out of the timeout, but I like this.
Grant Foster likes it too. Pulls, beats, plays, beat the buzzer and wins. Count it.
And I'll tell you, the chicken lay eggs. Get the skillet hot.
16 points for Grant Foster.
Well, you gamble there. You just have to be solid. Keep him in front of you. Make him make a contested one. He keeps that play, and that's a heck of a shot from Tyon Grant Foster.
That's an example of you reach, I teach.
Let's swing it over to Andy Katz.
Julian, you're the only starter that has experience playing the NCAA tournament. Early in this first half, how did you settle everyone down?
You know, everybody was just a little bit antsy, was moving a little bit fast, turning the ball over. I just calmed everybody down by starting on defense, being that culture. We was good, I went away.
You guys did a great job on their three-point defense early. They've hit some threes here at the end of the first half. How do you deliver a knockout punch in the second?
Just run them out the line. That's how teams come back in these type tournaments. They just hit a lot of threes. Just run them out the line. Force some hard twos, I think we'll be good.
Thanks, Julian.
Thanks for having me.
Well, so far, check, check, and check here from Maryland on that list. That's the end of the first half. Your halftime score, 42-28. We'll send you to the AT&T at the half after these messages. You're watching the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. All right, pick yourself up some coffee, some good seafood, lots of coffee and lots of seafood and lots of trinkets and lots of basketball here in Seattle. 42-28 is your halftime score. Maryland over Grand Canyon. Take a look at that AT&T first half stats. We highlight points in the paint for good reason. There's a plus 18 advantage for the Maryland Terrapins. Lisa Byington, Jalen Rose, Robbie Hummel, and Andy Katz with us on the sideline. And, Maryland kind of settling in the first half. When I mean settling in, like settling in the paint, quite literally.
Absolutely. Gillespie and Rice were terrific in the first half, but I would like to see the Maryland Terrapins take more advantage of their decided size and height advantage. 24-6 paint points they lead in the first half. As you see Gillespie with the layup right here. This is a great move by Queen, finishing with the left, and Reese getting his work done early and letting everybody know he got a mouse in the house.
Got the too small.
They need to do a lot more of that, be more pronounced with it in this half.
And for Grand Canyon, Robbie, Tyon Grant Foster provided the offense that they needed.
Well, and they needed somebody to make a play. The numbers speak for themselves right there. Tyon Grant Foster with 16 points, the rest of the team with just 12. He scored 15 of the team's last 18. Kind of got it going from three, started to make some plays for others. Someone needs to come along with him, whether it's Ray Harrison or it's Jacoby Coles. Other guys have to help Tyon Grant Foster.
He likes the NCAA tournament. The 16 points, he had 51 points in the 2 games last year in the NCAA tournament. So 67 combined points in 2.5 games. It's Reese. No surprise taking the first shot.
Had that left jump hook right there, Jim.
He had it.
And Grant Foster. So the 2 leading scorers taking the first shots for their respective teams. On the deck, it's Brennan getting wrapped up.
Like he was shoving Reese
Help,
off
I
him.
need somebody.
Let's go to Andy.
Well, I'm planning on running tomorrow morning, but I just did a quick sprint with Bryce Drew right onto the court, and we discussed what he needs to do offensively. He says, first of all, we got to continue to make shots because we're getting good looks. Defensively, look for them to double Queen, he said. They won't double Reese in the post.
What do you think of that? Doubling Queen, but not doubling Reese.
Well, Queen is more of a player that has shown that he can play dribble, pass, and shoot basketball. He's not much of a 3-shooter, but he's a creator.
I'm surprised because I think Julian Reese can physically manhandle Duke Brennan.
Like he's doing right now?
You're either going to get a basket or it's going to be a foul.
And this time it's a foul on Brennan, and it's his 3rd.
Especially with him having 2 fouls at the half.
Yep. And War, 2.
Now the problem is, because of the way that Maryland shoots the ball, it is a scary thought to double this team. But I just think if you want to keep Duke Brennan on the floor, you're going to have to give him some help.
I just want to know if we have video of Andy chasing down, Bryce Drew for that halftime interview.
Andy's showing off his athleticism to chase down, Bryce.
Does he have video though to prove that?
That's true.
Don't
Until we see it,
there,
we
much,
can't give him too much credit here.
That's less than athletic, in my opinion. Coles now with 2 points to go with his 2 fouls. He just picked up his 2nd.
Good defense.
Yeah, block.
Really good defense.
Colin Moore, 2-time all-defensive team in the WAC right there, using that length and getting a piece.
Grant Foster using the pick and roll action.
Yeah, the in and out dribble. Tough angle though to try to get that pass off. A good outlet pass. Queen has shown that a time or 2.
He's gone to the Kevin Love School of outlet passes here. Shown some long ones.
Kevin Love's middle name is Wesley after Unseld.
Julian Reese just battling for the loose ball. That's actually just his first personal.
Give Brennan a lot of credit. He's doing his work early against Reese.
And he's staying in with the 3 personals.
He's going to play hard,
in a shot.
be physical, no doubt. They need his presence on the offensive glass and certainly to take on Julian Reese.
Miguel with his third.
And so that probably would be the logic, because you want to trust Brennan to do his work early.
Brennan still chatting it up with DG Nelson, trying to kind of make his point, I think, on the defensive end, taking the opportunity while we have a stoppage of play here on the offensive end.
Who outside of Ty and Grant Foster is going to make something happen here? It's got to be Ray Harrison. It's got to be Jacoby Coles. It can't just all be Grant Foster.
The Coles 2 points surprises me, I'm going to be honest. Oh, picks the pocket. Gillespie has it. Taking someone's cookies, and Grant Foster's going to make him earn it.
No surprise to see Jacoby Gillespie top 5 in steals in the Big Ten, to just get an active hand, find a piece of this basketball. He's in the passing lanes. He gets it with that left. That's a great defensive effort there by Gillespie. And now you're off to the races.
It's hard to believe he had 0 Power 5, now Power 4 offers coming out of high school. Makes good on the first. Be prepared for history to be written in the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. NHL on TNT playoff coverage begins April 19th on TNT, TBS, and Max.
You think about the recruitments of people that came out of high school when COVID was a thing. And I guess he's what, now a junior, so he missed it a little bit, but there are some guys that fell through the cracks in that time period because the evaluation wasn't the same.
Harrison pulls up. Maybe that's your second score, Roddy Hummel.
Harrison has to do a lot more of that.
He's a big part
guarded by Gillespie.
He's a big part of why they won the Utah Valley game. I mean, he got downhill, he scored the ball, he made plays for others. They need him to be a factor.
He's got 4 points. Cole's just sitting on the 2 points.
I like to see Queen be a lot more aggressive offensively, looking to score.
Well, maybe he heard you. Got the soft touch too, Jalen.
And how about the way he just went around a guard? I mean, like, it's not like he had him in the post. He had him at the top of the key, and it's a rip and go, and he gets right by him.
Oh, Gillespie picks the pocket again.
Oh, man.
Can't pay it off. We got the foul. Yeah, foul call on Harrison.
The building didn't like it. Ray Harrison just losing the ball. Looked like he fouled. I guess he does slap him on the elbow. That still should be a layup that Gillespie makes. And here's that Queen drive right around Ray Harrison.
You know, I hear you, Robbie, about the COVID era with a guy like Gillespie, but I'm reading about him, and he did draw some interest in football during that time.
ACC offers.
ACC.
He's a heck of a player. I mean, he had to wait his turn, but the season he had, 3rd team all Big Ten. He's been good in pick and roll. He's been a tremendous presence shooting the ball and running the team. Awesome player.
14 points for Gillespie. GCU, 3 turnovers the last 4 possessions. What will they do here?
They tried to set up a baseline single-double.
Good hedge.
But they didn't set the picks.
6 to shoot. Coles between the legs, pulls, fires. Not there, but the tip in from Brennan.
That's what he's out there to impact the game on that end of the floor. He's going to get to the offensive glass. Maryland with a great defensive possession, but it doesn't matter if you can't close it down with the rebound.
4th offensive rebound for Grand Canyon. Look at that, Brennan with his 7 rebounds to go with. That was his first basket. Rice the Queen, going for it. Reese battling for it.
We know who's coming out of there with that one. If it's about power and strength, we know who's coming out of there with that basket.
Look, I do a fair number of Chicago Sky games, and that looked like Angel Reese. That whole play, the offensive rebound, the pursuit, the persistence, the putback.
That runs in the family, because Mom could do that too.
Yeah, she could. Played at UMBC, and both of them crediting Mom for their athletic talent. Tammy, thanks a lot. Here's our tournament summary, and you see Scott Drew advancing against Mississippi State. It was a close one, 7th straight win in the first round of the NCAA tournament. What will happen to brother Bryce here in our matchup? All right, coming out of that timeout. Double-digit deficit for most of this game here for Grand Canyon. Grant Foster can't hit the jumper, but a rebound to Coles puts it right back.
He's just not been able to find. That's a good look for him. Off the offensive rebound, Jacoby Coles has been so solid for Grand Canyon all year long, but can't find the range.
Really surprising to me, a grad transfer. There's Reese and Queen with the putback.
That is grown man strength from Derek Queen. I love the action from Maryland. Anytime you can empty out, go empty side pick and roll. You get a good look for Reese. He doesn't get it to go, and Derek Queen is right there to clean it all up.
Harrison rattles it in.
Harrison needs to continue to be aggressive offensively. He's knocked down his last 2.
Well, especially with Maryland in the drop. Opportunities in the mid-range, whether it's the pull-up or the floater.
Gillespie, look at that speed, looking for Queen. Look at those soft hands. Good ball movement by Maryland. Rice pulls short.
There you go, Brendan, be a screener.
There's Coles, trying to be a scorer. Outlet passes here from Maryland. Look at Queen.
What a dime.
Yeah, Rice can't pay it off.
It's really too bad because the pass and the footwork by Queen is so high level.
A little bit low at the shoelaces, but still you want to knock down the open shot.
Brennan, another offensive rebound.
They've walled him up, and he's just not been able to take advantage. They're not giving him angles. Nice job by Derek Queen there holding his ground.
Like, I did all of this work to get this offensive rebound. I'm shooting it.
No doubt.
He's got 5 of them in the game. Brennan does. Queen up against an undersized Colin Moore, and he takes advantage, draws the foul.
I just don't see many freshmen do that. That's like, that step through is major league.
Skill, intellect, size, versatility, handle, and that's against forward.
You know, you're changing direction before you're actually crossing over, and that's where that comes into the next level. His footwork is so on point.
I thought you were describing yourself. Skill, versatility.
Well, he was, but he's also describing others.
Height, yeah.
But that's what their bigs are going to need to do during this NCAA tournament if they plan to win it all. Reese, Queen, step up to the free throw line, knock them down.
Take a look at the advanced stats presented by Invesco. QQQ, the only duo in Division I to average 9+ rebounds this season. And Queen and Reese have been fantastic. But Queen just 1 point away from another double-double. He's got 9 points and 10 rebounds. 17th time he's got double-digit rebounds here this year. Or misses.
Oh, what a find. Canyon keeps getting pretty quality looks from 3, but they just cannot make them with any type of consistency. That's just a tough shot right there.
11th rebound for Queen. And the speedster Gillespie on the move. Queen can shoot that shot, but passes it up.
I love that he hasn't fallen in love with it, though. You know, he can make it, hasn't made a ton. He made a couple against Michigan and hasn't just said, you know what, I'm going to shoot a ton of them. He knows where his bread is buttered.
Yeah, Rice went down pretty hard.
People ask me all of the time, and you mentioned it with Penny Hardaway earlier, do I still play? That's the reason why I rarely play, because that floor is hard.
Yes. And as we sadly get older, things that used to be easy become like, man, I used to rebound pretty well. I used to be able to get by people. That used to not hurt that bad. Those things all changed.
These days, I would need surgery after a fall like that.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Rice just stands up and shoots a free throw and makes it. Yeah, the horse games and the free throw games, they sound a lot better, don't they?
Absolutely.
When you think about when you were playing, the things that you really miss are the being around your teammates, the team chemistry stuff, the memories that you create. Those are the things you wish you could get back. You know, obviously we wish we could still play, but those are the things that those are the best.
You know what else was the best? Making NBA money.
Yes, that
Only
was solid too. That was
one of
okay.
us would know that.
The league minimum is still NBA money.
Oh,
Yes. Average salary nowadays is $10 million.
Hey, check was a little. I didn't want to shortchange you.
No. You know, like it's still NBA money, but maybe not the same as the other NBA money.
I saw you pondering over there. Like,
Yeah,
wait a
you
second.
know.
Wait a second.
Well, now you can get it in college now.
That's true. That is true.
And I know it's one person at home saying, listen to him talking. He was getting it in college. No, I wasn't. I think I was driving a green Dodge Shadow on purpose.
Every dunk, every three, every upset fan work is thirsty work. Stay refreshed with Coke Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever? Now we're talking about the 15th double-double for this freshman.
I love this game. Poise.
How do you think it translates to the NBA? He's obviously, he still looks like a little kid.
It does. He has all of the skills. Great teammate, unselfish. Improving as a defender.
Grant Foster.
That's a wide open shot. You know, Maryland gets a little bit lost, and maybe early in the game they were going to give that up to him, but he made 3 in the first half. And Maryland getting their wires crossed, but a little bit fortunate there.
Taking a little time off the clock.
Good take from Rice. Geronimo tried the putback. And we'll head back the other way. We will take a timeout. 55-36. Maryland stretching it out.
Back here in Seattle, Maryland 55, Grand Canyon 36. March 13th, 1998. I know where Bryce Drew, the head coach of Grand Canyon, was. He was playing for Valparaiso and hit this shot, maybe one of the most famous shots ever in NCAA history to beat Ole Miss. And where was Robbie Hummel on March 13th, 1998? He was in 3rd grade at his elementary school, walking by his principal's office.
Andy, let Robbie tell the story.
Wait a minute, I gotta say, I'm gonna let him tell it, but here's the thing.
Acting like you were there.
We had a great time that day, didn't we, Andy?
No, I'm gonna say, he was there, he's gonna tell it in a minute, but here's the kicker. The kicker is, later, he had to call Bryce's dad, Homer Drew, who was supposed to be here to cheer on his son, not feeling great, so we're thinking about you, Homer. His daughter Dana's here, and he was watching his son, Scott Drew, head coach at Baylor, earlier. But I texted with Homer, and I asked him about the phone call that Robbie had to make when he chose Purdue over his hometown Valparaiso. And he said, quote, Robbie had tears. His mother did, and I did. I've known Robbie, his mom, and his dad since he was in elementary school, when he saw that shot, by the way. An awesome family, and always proud and happy for Robbie.
Well, that's incredibly nice of Coach Drew. And I wish he was here to see this game, because he obviously loves to support Bryce and Scott. I will say about the Bryce shot, though, and you know, going to Homer's camps, and that's my brother and I being, you know, getting autographs of Bryce. Just to be able, and I think any player coming up, if you get to see somebody from your hometown and they make a shot in the NCAA tournament, they play in the NBA.
Hold on. You would enjoy having you be one of our ball boys for this coming season?
I was a ball boy for, 6, 7 seasons. So, but to get to see somebody and say, you know what? I want to be like that guy, and that's going to inspire me. So watch him in the NBA, watch him in the NCAA tournament, and I'm sure you had somebody, all of us too, to be able to say somebody's done it. It is so impactful for anyone that's a 3rd grader. So that was a big moment in my life, and I'm sure a lot of people's lives in Valparaiso, Indiana.
I was actually a senior in college. I was not a 3rd grader, but I remember watching that game, and actually our teammates, my Northwestern teammates, we found Bryce Drew's email, and we wrote him an email. Like,
really?
Honest to God, he doesn't remember my email.
That's awesome.
Jalen, did you reach out to the Drew family?
I did not.
Okay.
I'm just glad Robbie was walking past the principal's office, 'cause I probably was in there.
That midway point here of the second half, look at that. Look at that, just making some room for himself, Reese.
That sums up kind of the way this game has gone. You know, Maryland has been the more physical team. They have the bigger bodies in there, and they have gone to it time after time.
And the foul call on Reese, his second. No, but all seriousness, I mean, those magic moments are what make this so magical.
No question. That's an iconic shot in the NCAA tournament. And just to, I think it also sums up what everybody loves. Seeing David beat Goliath in a play that you're like, that's a 1 in 1,000 shot. And he somehow, everything works, and it's what makes this tournament so awesome.
Absolutely. And I like to say, one shot, one kill, one shining moment.
Yep. Now, I will say, coming from Purdue and a Michigan perspective, you fear those types of moments heavily because you don't want to be the team that's like an Ole Miss on the other side of that.
Here's Queen with another rebound.
For a minute, when you said Purdue, I got PTSD thinking about Big Dog Robinson and having to guard him.
No doubt. It's hard not to. That dude, 30 a game. 1,000 points in a season is an incredible number.
We got Queen back to the free throw line. Taylor, what do you think was going through him and some of these other guys playing in their first tournament game?
I love the poise of Maryland. I like the fact that they have all of the ingredients. You mentioned, Robbie, that they didn't have the depth that they might need. But other than that, they have all of the ingredients to be a team that could cut down the nets when this is all said and done. They have the backcourt play. They have the size up front, defensive tenacity, coaching. They have all of the ingredients. Battle tested.
And really the only way the depth comes into play is foul trouble or an injury. And they haven't been hurt all year, and they've done a great job of managing and not fouling over the course of this season.
There's Reese with a rejection.
And usually you don't have two great guards the way they do and also have two really good bigs. They complement each other so very well. Rice and Gillespie, they set the table, and the big fellas eat.
Thinking about creating a scouting report for this team, what are you giving up? Because everybody on the floor in the starting five can really hurt you in a different way.
And Grant Foster, who's already got 21 points, draws the third personal on Julian Reese.
On the next highest is Ray Harrison with 6. He just hasn't had anybody come alongside him.
Which surprises me, because that's one of Grand Canyon's strengths. Their balanced scoring and the choices they have. Witness the last chapter in the book of Gemstone. New episodes of the HBO original series, The Righteous Gemstones, are streaming Sundays at 10 p.m. exclusively on Max.
I think that's a credit to Maryland's defense.
Yes.
I think they have taken away a lot of what Grand Canyon wants to do. Drive the ball, get to the foul line. And with that help defense, they've made them prove it from 3, and they haven't been able to do that over the course of this game.
High-low action.
Oh, Reese can't put it away. But you can see the chemistry and cohesion between those two.
He's like, looking at him like, dude, dunk the ball. Give me that assist.
Miguel for 2.
Grand Canyon just not ready for the ball to be inbounded there.
Caleb Shaw, the nephew of Bryce Drew, and the 15th rebound.
Julian Reese is wide open.
Lob play to the nephew, Shaw.
Great pass by Grant Foster. And it's hard not to look up at the scoreboard sometimes and get discouraged, but see if you can string together a few stops in a row.
You're just trying to put game pressure back on Maryland and see if they'll maybe fold a little bit.
Queen going right at, and I mean that, I thought he was going to get that finish. The putback is good for Reese.
Physically imposing. Once he squares those shoulders, you're in the torture chamber at that point.
But for Queen to almost get that bucket as he's falling off balance. The soft touch. There's Coles with another 2.
But there's no time to exchange baskets here. You know, it's going to have to be multiple stops in a row. It's got to be on this end of the floor.
Consider extending the defense, try to create some turnovers.
That's only the 4th point there for Coles, by the way, in that last basket. And a carrying call. Reese is a little flummoxed about that call. Our game summary and the points in the paint advantage and differential continues to grow on the Maryland side. And one of the problems for GCU is Grant Foster is still the only double-figure scorer with his 23 points here today.
I think for Maryland, Jalen talked about it earlier, but there's no reason this team can't make the Final Four. And the road will be tough when you look at who you're going to have to go through. But if they're healthy and out of foul trouble, they can be a team that finds their way there. They are that good, they're that talented, and they play that well together.
And also an unsung hero for their team is Harris Smith. He's plus 28 in today's game.
He's been great today, yes. Totally agree.
Yeah, this is the West region, which means the #1 seed is Florida. Gotta most likely go through the Gators to try to get to the Final Four. Coles with 4 personals. You know, but this is a team of that's very, very resilient. You know, 4 buzzer beaters that they've had to rally from and come back from. Well, the latest was the Big Ten tournament
chalk this up as the
championship.
same thing.
Yeah.
That was a heartbreaking loss, and they thought they had a real chance. You know, you're into the semis. You've got a pretty good crowd in Indianapolis. You've done the job. You take the lead. They're right there. What a pass. Oh, my gosh.
Floats it. Another bucket, yeah, for Sultan Miguel.
That's the 5th option on the floor. That's a pretty good 5th option, you know.
Right.
He's physical, he guards, he can make shots, gets to the rim.
All the dirty work.
Grant Foster trying to hunt down those 2s. It'll be Maryland basketball.
I think you look at the job that Kevin Willard has done early on in the portal of going and getting Miguel, Gillespie, Rodney Rice. They were one of the worst shooting teams in college basketball from the perimeter last year. That's totally shifted. And then just the way that roles have been assigned. You can tell everybody has such an understanding of what their job is and what they need to do.
And if you get a chance to look at this Maryland team up close and personal, you can tell they're putting in work in the weight room and conditioning as well.
Well, their 3rd best 3-point field goal percentage in the Big Ten. The 3rd highest scoring team in the Big Ten behind Illinois and Iowa. And Queen gets blocked by Coles. 11 seconds on the shot clock still. But after those 3 buzzer beaters, you know, Kevin Willard had talked about this team, you know, rallying about 3 to 4 wins off of that. Maybe the latest coming, like you said, with that semifinal loss to Michigan. It'll be GCU basketball. Let's check in with Andy Katz.
So you're talking about how this roster was essentially constructed for a potential Final Four, but you never know. He knew he had Reese coming back. He knew he had one of the best freshmen in the country in Derek Queen. So what did he do? And he's told me and Robbie this throughout the course of the season. He found 3 transfer guards that fit exactly what he needed. He wanted shooting, he wanted winners, he wanted high character and good teammates. And that's what he's got.
And it's paying off. And what do you get? You get the crab 5.
Well, he hit on all 3 in the portal, and that's not easy to do because you've got like a week to evaluate and determine if they fit your team, their skill set fits what you got, and he knocked all of them out of the park.
And not just the parents are wearing those T-shirts, as you can see. The crab 5, the Maryland starters, you see there, they tally 69 points per game. That's the most in the country. Miguel for three. Now he's pouring it in here in the second half.
They got a squad.
They do. How about the screen from
As complete as it gets.
Yep.
10 points for Miguel. And a timeout call. Bryce Drew going to chat about it. Maryland fans loving this today. And now power forward, presented by Nissan. Jalen, what you like about Derek Queen today?
Maryland has been dominant in the paint, 40-14, and Derek Queen has been terrific, not only posting up, but dribble driving, getting past the man regardless of who's guarding him, and being able to finish. Very unselfish, 12 points, 15 boards, 2 blocks. He's done it all today.
First Maryland player with a double-double in a tournament debut in some time.
How appropriate. His first college game, he went for 20 and 20.
That's
so
right.
Good foreshadowing there for the rest of his season.
Right, that's right. Against Manhattan, looking at my notes, the first D1 freshman to do that since Michael Beasley in 2007.
It's rare air right there.
These guards, we've talked about it, the 3 transfer guards, by the way, including today, they've now combined for 228 three-pointers this year. Miguel, gonna add to it, why not?
He's balled too. I mean, everybody for the most part from Maryland has come out here and played well. A lot to like about what they did against a team that has plenty of NCAA tournament experience. And this is the 4th tournament in 5 years for Grand Canyon. They've got experience, they've got talent. Maryland has just overwhelmed them today.
And the hustle play, everything going the Terps' way. 3 straight turnovers for GCU. With 4 and some change, Maryland just looking to put a stamp on this one. With Colorado State looming and waiting. Quick hands by War. He gets fouled. And we're inside the under 4 window. Big, big Maryland advantage. Inside 4 left to play. I suddenly feel like I'm at a car dealership instead of a basketball game. Now it's time for our AT&T Connected Cam. The connectedness of this Maryland team and also the three-point shot.
Well, Selton Miguel has himself had quite the day, and really everybody has for Maryland that's gotten in the game. But 13 points, perfect 3 of 3 from beyond the arc. Maryland just kind of showing off the firepower here and the number of ways that they can beat you.
Luke War, graduate student, transfer from Oregon. He's the 6th man of the year in the conference. And he splits the pair. In Maryland basketball, 17,000 plus in attendance here at Climate Pledge Arena.
Trust me, I bet the Maryland coaching staff is monitoring these reserve minutes very closely, because there will be a time during this period, during the NCAA tournament, whether it's foul trouble or anything that may happen, where a lot of these guys that are on the floor now, it may seem like since it's a blowout, these are meaningless minutes. No, these are very meaningful minutes for the guys out there on the court.
Well said, Miguel, the kick out. There's a look for Harris Smith.
Look at that.
Oh, pouring it in. Harris Smith, 9 points.
He's had a nice game today. Guarded Tyon Grant Foster, active on the offensive glass and as a cutter. And there, he struggled with his jumper, but just like Jalen said, you see one go down, and you're feeling better about it here when you play again in 2 days.
He's a part of the lefty number 5 family.
Count the bucket for
It's a special
Williams.
fraternity that you guys got rolling.
Absolutely.
Lefty number 5. Here's a look at it.
I love to see the bench feeling good about guys that don't maybe play as much when they do have success, and that's certainly a characteristic of a very connected team.
Who else is a part of that club?
Lamar Odom, Tino Mobley.
Yeah.
There's a laundry list over the last 30 years of a quiet fraternity of lefty number 5s that exists.
Coutinho can still play. He's still out there like literally big three. He's a load to guard too, man. Oh my goodness.
He is.
It's wheels and deals.
Us lefties think with our right mind. We must stick together. We only represent, what, 9–10% of the population.
But the shot just, we were talking about this, the shot just looks smoother.
It just looks a little better. You know, all of us right-handed guys, we're jealous.
I tried to be a lefty. It didn't work out well for me.
The smoothest left-hand jumper is who I call throwback, Chris Mullin.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But he still can shoot. If you saw him today, he is an unbelievable shooter to this day. And I guess that's something you probably don't lose, but he works out a lot. And, man, that dude, he can still just fling it.
Well, Grand Canyon, Bryce Drew. You look at the notable alums. Yeah, it's really a university people are still trying to learn about. Settled in Phoenix. Backing by Jerry Colangelo. Bryce Drew and Dan Marley, the only 2 head coaches in program history. Still fairly new in the Division I world.
Well, if you have backing by Jerry Colangelo, it pretty much guarantees your success. And that's what it has done over these last 5 seasons.
You mentioned it, making to the NCAA tournament for the 4th time in the last 5 years. Picked up their first NCAA tournament win last year.
Man.
Geronimo!
And when he plays to his strengths, and just be at the rim, offensive rebound, and play hard guard, he can really impact games as well.
Grant Foster, partially blocked. Gapari.
He was in the rotation, then got sick, and it's kind of fallen out, but he's got a lot of talent too.
Yeah, he dropped some weight. See if he can get back into that rotation. The healthier he gets, more conditioned he gets.
You're going to make it to the Final Four and win it all. You need every person. Uh-oh.
Harris Smith, bad intentions. Body bucket and one.
And I always enjoy seeing, now it's the Crab 5, celebrating their teammates as they're doing so very well out on the floor. That's why you have an opportunity to take care of business and get up big. It's important to do so. You owe that to your teammates.
No doubt. And from a rust factor. I mean, you're not having to think about Colorado State, who's going to be their opponent. They had to battle Memphis all the way through. And for Maryland, these last 5 or 6 minutes, you're just over there celebrating your teammates on the bench.
And not many times as Harris Smith goes to the free throw line and you look at his point tally, only the 2nd time in the last 16 games that Maryland has gotten double figures by their bench. So Maryland will punch its ticket into the next round, take on Colorado State.
Remember the ball we used to play with was actually brown?
Yes, I do.
When did this?
Well, it's a little bit brighter now, I guess. Yeah, it's unique. You know it's the tournament ball.
I cannot shoot those orange balls.
Too bouncy?
Yes.
Well, this ball is really
Slippery.
grippy. You could be like MJ waving this thing around.
Got you.
You don't even have to have big hands.
Really?
Yeah, it's grippy.
And you see some of these guys who are playing in their final game. Ray Harrison and Jacoby Coles, who came to play at Grand Canyon. He said to win a championship, which they did. They won the tournament championship this year. All kinds of success for him. You remember he had that game-winning bucket against Arizona State in the NCAA tournament. He played at TCU. And a look at that man who poured in 23 points, Grant Foster.
Well, these young men have nothing to hang their head about. I know this has been a disappointing result, but what they've accomplished over the last 3 and 4 seasons for this program to kind of push it forward, to get to the NCAA tournament, to win their first game in their program's history last year, to come back and make it as a 2 seed in their conference tournament, beating Utah Valley. They have nothing to be ashamed of.
A lot to build in.
They've set the foundation for this program and culture for years to come.
The crowd wanted to see Murphy get a shot.
Oh, man, the drum set. Oh, goodness, I hope he's okay.
He's still in there. Travar Jackson is caught in the band. As the final few seconds tick off, there he goes. He's okay. Maryland, in dominating fashion, punches its ticket into the next round of the NCAA tournament. The largest victory in the tournament in school history. (81-49) over Grand Canyon. And now it'll be a meeting between Maryland and Colorado State. A team that has won now 11 straight going into this meeting. That matchup, that 4-12 matchup, will happen on Sunday. 5 in double figures for Maryland. Led by the 18 points for Reese. Julian Reese really set the tone for a team that was feeling their first NCAA tournament game. He settled things. And then Maryland found their game. Let's check in with Andy.
All right, Derek. I think my math is right here. You guys have had 3 last possession losses. After each one, you ripped off 4 wins in a row. This is now number 1 after what happened in Indy against Michigan. How do you explain what you guys have done after those losses?
I mean, we just don't want to get in those positions. We try not to get in those positions again and just come out because we always got a chip on our shoulder, and then we're not trying to lose back-to-back. So we just come out and play ready.
This is single elimination. You guys are so connected. You're at Colorado State next. What must you achieve to continue this chemistry connectivity to get out of this region and get to San Francisco?
Just keep playing defense, keep rebounding, keep standing as a team. Team's going to punch us, but it's all about how we respond. We just got punching back, going out, run, and just keep standing as a team.
We'll see you Sunday.
Yes, sir.
Andy, thank you. Jalen, Robbie, we got 2 more games after a short break for us. Our producer, Bert Bondi, our director, Jonathan Bywaters. Our final score, 81-49 here in Seattle. Turn to TNT now for Norfolk State versus Florida, and TBS has New Mexico versus Marquette at 7:25 Eastern. We'll send you over to our studio after these messages.